Well, so we're back here to do the discussions. And just before the break, we told you about the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana embarking on a strike action, or are supposed to embark on a strike action from today. And it's all with concerns they have about likely amendment to the act that established the technical universities, because we know that we used to have polytechnics, and they 6 or 7 of them were transitioned or transformed into technical universities through an act. And we have the National General Secretary for the Technical University Teachers Association, David Warwi Brown, in the studio. Thanks for joining me, David.
Thank you.
And then also Dr. Jones in Tiamwa is the chairman for the Technical University Teachers Association, Accra Technical University chapter. Thanks for joining me,
Thank you
Jones.
so much.
If I call you Jones, is okay,
yeah,
right?
That's okay.
Yeah, doctor. But let me start with you, Brown, Warwi Brown. This is premised on the fact that you have concern that the minister has made announcement or pronouncements that the act will be amended.
Sure. Yeah,
the act establishing the technical.
Exactly.
Okay. So just give me some background history about
it. Right. In the year 2016, the previous government converted 6 polytechnics into technical universities, and the act which established such technical universities, the Technical Universities Act 2016, Act 922. Barely less than 2 years, the sector minister for education, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, seeks to make some amendments to the act, and there were about 11 amendments he was seeking, and we have a problem with 5 of such amendments, which amendments, if allowed to pass, would not be good and will create some challenges for the various technical universities. And we have amendment to Section 24, and Section 24 provides in the Parent Act that the councils are mandated to establish faculties, departments, even establish hostels and programs. But the amendment is saying that if you want to establish such faculties and programs, then you now need approval from the National Council for Tertiary Education, which is against best practices, because councils are mandated. The Act gives the council such mandates. And when you're doing that, you are taking away the academic freedoms from the various universities to operate, because those are internal arrangement issues. Another problem has to do with Section 27, which seeks to now give a harmonized statute to all the technical universities. We're saying that no, each university is located in the different regions. They may have their various peculiarities. And so yes, one act established as, you can have a guideline for all the technical universities to follow in enacting their statutes. But you cannot say that you are pushing one statute on them, because if you do that, and assuming a particular university wants to change their operations, how do they do that without recourse to the others? And the others may say, no, we are okay with what we have. You're going to create a challenge. And we want to say that Section 6 of the Parent Act gives the councils of the governing, the governing councils of the technical university that mandate to do that.
Gives them
so if you are changing this thing, they should be in a way which will be able to operate, we can rationalize how to go about that. Another very critical one has to do with amendment to Section 31. Section 31 gives the mandate to our governing councils to acquire property, both movable and immovable. And if they are doing so, they have to operate with recourse to the Procurement Act, the Public Financial Management Act, the tender boards in place. Now you're saying that no, you are taking those powers from them, and you are giving such powers, is saying, and the Act is saying that if we want to acquire any property, both movable and immovable, we must seek approval from the minister in consultation with the National Council for Tertiary Education. What it means is, if we want to buy a pen, if we want to buy anything, we want to buy markers for teaching, assuming you are in the laboratory operating and maybe the machines go faulty, you have to wait, go seek approval from the minister, who has so much to do. He has challenges with even free education and other things to sort out. Now he's saying that he wants to micromanage technical universities, universities which have governing councils appointed by the president, the chairman, the NCT has a representation, the ministry has a representation, and they have to operate. Now you are taking those powers from them. What are you doing? You want to micromanage such institutions, and we are saying that such is wrong, it's against academic culture, against university culture, and it's against best practices. The last one, which actually is against even the labor law, has to do with amendment to Section 42, which is saying that all those who are working in the Polytechnic before they were converted are going to be termed classified interim employees. Meanwhile, the Parent Act provides in the transitional provisions that all employees who were employed when we were polytechnics, in the coming into effect of this act, will be deemed to have been employed under the Technical Universities Act. Now you want to get back and say that we are interim staff, which is not even in the Labor Act. There is no designation anywhere in any law books in Ghana concerning labor as interim staff.
Dr. Ntiamwa, these concerns that have been enumerated by Mr. Warri Brown, what kind of atmosphere and is it creating, or perhaps is it creating in the various technical universities? Because you are from just the Accra chapter.
Thank you very much, Roland. You may have heard from the other TUs that they have issued threats to sit down. Some of them have threatened to embark on strike. We at ATU are also planning on engaging Labour Commission in order to be able to have a sort of a strike action or a sit-down strike, so that we can bring home the demands that we have put out so far. Now, if I want to speak to what the General Secretary has said, we see the position of NCT as very strange, because we have engaged the NCT Executive Director, Professor Mohamed Salifu, on several occasions, and also with the Minister. We made our position very clear to them that what we need as technical universities is not control, we need funding. You see, if you go to Germany, where the TUs were modeled on, you see that the government of Germany has resourced these universities, and they're able to do so many to help the economy to grow. Now, what they are seeking to do is inimical to us being autonomous and also be able to be innovative in creating things that a university is supposed to do. So to me, I find that the minister should listen more, because we have made our case known to him. On the 5th of December, we met him and we explained to him why we think that a harmonized statute is not good for us. And we made our case known to him. And if you read the amended act, the proposed amendment, you will see that the act was signed by the minister on the 6th of December. So when he was meeting us, actually he had made up his mind to sneak this to Parliament, and we find this as very unfortunate. The minister has been engaging us, but we feel that he must listen to us more so that we can actually have our views heard.
Okay, I was listening to a minister on radio just 2 days ago, and I'm sure many of you also listened to some of the inserts. And he made it known that it was all because they wanted to ensure that the technical universities were run well. Is it that there seemed to be this fear among you, not only the staff, but also the embodiment of the structure of management of the technical universities, that power could be ceded into central government authority, and so thereby not inuring to the benefits of the growth of the universities?
Roland, I want to take your minds back. Some years ago, heads of state used to be the chancellors of universities in Ghana.
Definitely.
And because they wanted universities to have the autonomy, devoid of any political or institutional maneuverings, they've taken off such rules from presidents or heads of state and given that to what? Chancellors to be appointed by the various universities. This is because they want universities to have their academic freedom to be able to even critique issues of government and suggest what? Solutions. Now, we are even thinking that universities should even be given more autonomy so that they will be able to have that freedom to be able to operate and be innovative and creative. You are now taking away the little autonomy they have, ceding that to yourself. Our fear is not about control so much. Our fear is about who controls us. We have councils in place. These councils are men of avowed wisdom and knowledge, picked from various areas, who we believe can manage the universities. If you think that you want to control the university, then why do we have the councils in place? You see, this issue of control, you will just realize that just about 2 days ago, NCTA Executive Secretary has issued a letter. We heard he's issued a letter to terminating or suspending the duly appointed VC of Cape Coast Technical University. Yes. And we saw that to be strange. The act is not even amended. You do not even have that, but you are not the appointing authority. And because they do not have a council, you took a pen and write such a letter to him, suspending him. On what grounds? Because some people have presented an allegation to you, which allegation you have not even written to inform the man, asking him to respond. They're just saying you are suspending him. It means you are using your power at your whims and caprices. And this is what they seek to do, to frustrate. And we say, no, we are not going to sit down to allow such things to happen. So it's not about control. We also had a minister the other day saying that University of Ghana had borrowed some money. And he was trying to roll the link into this control, and I was surprised. Governments of Ghana borrow money. The ministry borrows money. Who comes to control them and say, because you borrow money and you cannot pay? And saying that they want to control such things. The question is, the money borrowed by the University of Ghana, was it not used for a good cause? Was the money misappropriated? These are the questions we should interrogate.
Our point, you wanted to make a contribution, Dr. Ntema.
If you would please allow me, we find...
You're allowed.
Yes, thank you very much. We find this development very, very strange, because how can the executive secretary of an NCT, National Council...
That's the National Council for Tertiary Education.
I mean, take on the powers of sacking a duly appointed VC of a technical university. And this is a letter that they have received petitions from staff, and that he should step aside immediately so that investigations can be conducted for him. Maybe if he's found to be innocent, then he'll be called back. Now, as we speak, Cape Coast Technical University doesn't have a council. Why? Because they are yet to be converted to a university. So they decided that they would want to be converted first before they get a full council. Now, if you read the letter sacking him or suspending him, it's strange. The man, Professor Salifu, doesn't have such powers to do so. The man was Professor Lawrence Atepo, who is the VC of Cape Coast, was appointed by the council. So until the council is reconstituted to do so, the man sitting at NCT has no such powers. Even the minister can only do so by asking the council to sack him. The minister, cannot just issue a letter to suspend someone. In any case, do we just sack people based on reports and allegations? Why didn't he invite Iyoko to go into the books of Cape Coast to go and establish whether indeed he has misappropriated or mismanaged funds of the university? We find this development very strange. I would like to let the public know that these are the things we are fighting against. A university should be given this autonomy. The minister said something that's very interesting. He said we have academic freedom, but not autonomy. I'm wondering how the two cannot exist at the same time. Because, one, he might be thinking that once government is funding you, then government must have some level of control. That is fine. We are not against that. But what we are against is trying to interfere directly in the internal administration of the universities. Now, Roland, you may have heard of the colleges of education. I think they are about 41 or so. They have a common status. Why? A college is supposed to be under a university. But once you become a university, you are not under the control of another university. So if the NCT gives us one harmonized statute, what will mean is that if Accra wants to run aviation science and Kumasi doesn't want to run aviation science, and we want to add that to our statute, it means we have to call everybody on the table and try to negotiate how we can have our aviation science program.
And you think that that doesn't inure to the growth of the various technical?
At all. In fact, it's strange. If you go to Germany, wherever a university is in Ghana, this is something very, very alien to a university culture. We think that if they want to give us one harmonized statute, which is okay, they should allow the mandated councils. You know, legally the council is supposed to enact statutes. And if your listeners and your viewers would want to know, a statute is the operating document that is enacted from the Act to govern the operations of a university.
By the councils
by
of
the
the
governing councils. Now, even the amendment is even contradictory. If you read Section 14 of the amended Act, that the criteria and modalities for the nomination and election of the chancellor shall be prescribed by the statutes of the university. At one breath, this amendment seeks to suggest that the TUs can have their own statutes. But if you go to Section 26, Section 27, it says that the universities shall have harmonized statutes. This is very contradictory.
Incoherent.
And if you read the definitions under the principal enactment, it is clear that a statute is an administrative document enacted. Please, if you can refer to that.
It.
A statute is they did not amend that. You see, the executive director of NCT
let me
has an agenda.
With your permission, let me read.
Yes, please.
Statute means administrative guidelines enacted by the council of a technical university in accordance with this act to govern the internal operations.
Well, I have to wrap up on this.
Okay.
Okay. So from here, what would you want to take the? Where would you want to take the next level of discussions with the minister? Because now we know that this is an act. I've perused the document in itself.
You mean the amended?
Yes, the amendment.
Okay, so for me, I think that the minister is not prepared to have any discussions with us. But we have presented our issue to the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education.
What have been the responses from the
Parliament? Yesterday we engaged the ranking member, and he saw into our work and believes that everything is okay. And we believe that Parliament is giving us audience, and Parliament has seen our reasoning behind we rejecting such amendments to be passed. And we believe that we're holding on to Parliament by tomorrow, because we are...
So you haven't started the strike action?
No, the strike
not
we
yet.
should actually have tomorrow. We're waiting for the MPs.
All right,
and then we'll
so we'll come back to you on more. We've had in the studio the General Secretary for the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana, David Warwi Brown, in the studio, and also the chairman for the Accra Technical University local chapter of TUTAG, Dr. Johnson Tiamwa, in the studio as well. Thanks, gentlemen, for all this. We'll look up to it. But the Joy FM Thought Leadership Forum, okay, so we're taking a break. We'll be right back.
Hold on, thanks.